Hello, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to Instructions for Humanity's Sphere of Consciousness. Someone let me know if you can hear me okay. Guys, shout out your city, your country, your state, your vibe, your mood. I am so happy to be here with you all this evening. By the way, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I just actually realized that a few hours ago that it was February the 14th. So come on in, everyone. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm going to come to the comments here. Sister Tracy, yes, great sound. Thank you. Sound is perfect. You guys are already on it. Randy, hi. Hi, Randy. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Renita. Sonia, Miss Sonia. Hi. Hi, Atemis. Hi. Hi, Donna. Hi, Denise. Thank you for the gift, Denise. Hi, Keely. Hi. Hi, Keisha. Hi, guys. Hi, dear Diana. Welcome in, everyone. Hope I got everyone in. Sister Gail, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I'm so happy that you guys are coming in. And Angelic Moon, welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. Okay. All right. So hopefully you guys are getting the notifications. And, while we are waiting for some more people, I'm going to do my announcements. It gives me time, to guys. Okay. Something happened. Okay, I have to tell everyone this. I have to tell everyone this because I was about to say to blank some time, the saying to kill some time. But baby, since last night, the cosmic ministry, I've my subconscious programming is already being rewired. Like I was on customer service today and someone was like, just bear with me for a moment. I said, no, just flow with me for a moment. Just flow with me. And I almost said to kill some time. No, to birth some time, to hold space for this moment. Right. And I just want to let you guys know that last night we did our first cosmic ministry. It was a little rough around the edges because there was a lot of us, but I am so happy for each and every person that came in and your energy was felt. And I thank you so much just for taking the time to support something that I'm doing on the channel, that we are doing, because you guys are part of the collective. I don't do this work alone. I understand that you guys' energy is very, very powerful. And it was very beautiful, guys. By the way, like the video and subscribe to the channel. It was very beautiful. I want to give a shout out to some of my beautiful sisters that helped out, Miss Tracy, Miss S, and Tammy. Thank you so much. And all my other siblings. You guys are just it's like when I see you in the comments, like being able to put a face to your name, it was just beautiful. Like it really was. Let me tell you what happened last night, and we're going to flow into these nasty people sucking the foreskin off them babies. Like you guys, it's getting cuckoo. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. And they've been doing this for a very long time, and they call it culture. Right? They call it culture. We are going to get to that as people start coming in, but last night was very beautiful, and we did a few different things. I did a teaching about the Christ bandwidth. So if you do want to check that out, guys, go ahead and subscribe to the Patreon. You can make a free account as well, or you can subscribe to the Cosmic Ministry. And we're going to meet several times a month, probably more than likely, it'll probably be a once a week sort of thing. We're still kind of vibing with this thing for the first month, and we're going to hold the light and shift the collective consciousness, right? Last night, what happened, the energy was very dense, right? It was so dense, in fact, that literally there was breaks in the channel with the Christ, right? And then we went straight into, so I was being called to go straight into the light language, because I'm an ancestral psychic medium, and I was picking up some heavy either Polynesian, Hawaiian, Samoan ancestors, right? And it was breaking that energy up. Then we held the Ho'oponopono prayer for 15 minutes all at the same time. It sounded like a beautiful harmonics. And it was like, I don't know, 50 of you guys in there, or if not more of you guys in there last night. It sounded like a harmonic. Guess what happened, guys? Do you know that the hook that is showing up in all of these automatic drawings, if you've been around, we've been talking about the hook. When I start to see devilish activity, something pops up in the automatic drawing. It looks like a hook, like something that Satan would use to take you away, right? Oh, coincidentally enough, it looks like a J, girl. We're going to save that because I think we know where the hook may be coming from. The same people sucking the foreskin and the baby blood from the circumcision wound. Ooh, y'all. So anyways, this popped up and I looked at it, popped up at 1 hour and 14 minutes, I believe. And get this, yesterday was a very like Christ day, the 13th. The 13th is not a bad number. It's actually a lucky number. Key code out of the matrix. It's the number of the Christ. Why did the video, the whole session last night lasted 2 hours and 13 minutes? 2:13. So guys, we made a code. I want you to understand that our collective energy created a synchronicity last night. Because yesterday was 2/13, February 13th, and the whole session lasted for 2 hours and 13 minutes, 2:13. So we have synchronized the collective energy. And about an hour and 14 minutes, a hook was released, and it ended up on the page that we were using to do the Ho'oponopono prayer. And it ended up, it was a red one too. We released that from the collective. It was very, very beautiful, guys. So thank each and every one of you guys for dropping in. It was very beautiful. Hi, Sister Natalie. Hi. Electrifying and so amazing. Yes, it was. Oh my God, it was beautiful. Spirit said 13 was my number. Beautiful. Also, hi, Sister Carolyn. Hi, guys. All right, guys, let's jump into this foolishness, guys. Really quickly, guys, my quantum telepathic and psychic healing development course is coming back next month. If you want a free consultation, we are going to meet. It's going to be 6 weeks. You get to apprentice with me one-on-one, and we're going to go through about 20 different or more than 20 different quantum healing modalities, from developing your psychic senses, psionics, telepathy, psychokinesis, automatic drawing, channeling, remote viewing, mediumship, Akashic records, how to read them, light language activations, third eye activations, all of the 9, over 350 pages of workbook content, and 24 video lessons. And we're going to meet twice a week. We're going to practice, go into our breakout rooms and practice, guys, and you will be psychic in the end of 6 weeks. So if you are interested, then you can go ahead and you can email me instructions4humanity@gmail.com, or you can book the free 20-minute consultation, and the link is down below. Now let's get into this nastiness, because I know what you guys are thinking. Baby, why is this man, this old man, by the way, sniffing on this little baby? The little baby looked like crying. And then notice how there ain't nothing but men around. Does that go down in your culture? And this ain't about, baby, see, here's the thing. We gotta get an understanding here today in the building. Let's ask for an amen. We gotta get an understanding. Listen, Linda, listen. Sometimes demonic acts are hidden in this thing called culture. Sometimes demonic acts are hidden in this thing called religion. Sometimes demonic acts are hidden in this thing called the bro code. You know, it's the things that they put these things in place to keep people complacent. And so what we're doing on this channel is we are going to a higher sphere of consciousness, leaving the old world behind. Therefore, unfortunately, guys, and I'm not saying you can't have your religions and your way of being, but some religions, cultures, and ways of being are keeping us stuck and stagnated. And I'm here to tell you, baby, that this right chair, I sound like Nelly, this right chair is demonic. And you can call demonic acts out when you see them, even if it is in another person's culture. Because sometimes if you're in that culture, you can't see. Like even within my own culture, there is a lot of trauma bonding. There's a lot of what they call it post-traumatic slave disorder happening, where people can't, they're really in the subconscious still living as if they are in chains. I didn't see it until I became awakened. So if you see something, regardless of what culture it is, and you know that something ain't right, you have to call it out. And at what point would you take your brand new baby? I mean, you just gave birth. I mean, I'm telling you, you nurtured this baby for 9 months. And then the moment you give birth, all of a sudden there's all these men around, and this old man right here has his nasty lips on your son's pee-pee, is what I am saying. Oh, y'all don't believe fat meat greasy. Thank you, mama. If you know, then you know. If you're from the South, you know, I'm not from the South, but you know, there's one of the sayings that my ancestors would say. You don't believe that fat meat is greasy, meaning you don't believe that what I am saying is true. That's what it means. Y'all, when I tell you that some of these men is giving these babies the heebie-jeebies, the absolute heebie-jeebies. Let us go ahead and talk about this. Hold on. Let me bring this up for you guys. And you ain't heard that one in a while. The heebie-jeebies. You ready for this? We're ready. Are you ready? All right. Listen, here we go.
2 infant boys have gotten the herpes virus after they got circumcised. Now authorities, including the health department, are investigating this case. Now, they were circumcised by an Orthodox Jewish family. It was part of their tradition. And part of the problem is after the circumcision took place, they applied something known as direct oral suction. And the reason why they do that is because they are supposed to draw blood from deep inside the wound. Now, apparently the adult...
No, sir. Wait a minute. Hold on. Don't just scam over that. No. They are supposed to draw blood from deep inside the wound. But the man is doing this with his mouth. That's what, let's just keep watching. So he's sucking the blood, essentially. And this is the culture. This is what they tell you is culture.
Adult who did this had the herpes virus and then transferred it over to the infants. Now, for infants who do get the virus, they could have high fever, seizures, and since 1998, there have been 2 cases of deaths. This is an incredible story, especially because circumcision in and of itself is highly questionable and I think rightfully debated. But to apply oral suction, to have an adult apply oral suction to an infant's newly circumcised penis should be illegal. And maybe that's a really strong statement, but I'm against that 100%.
Okay. Let me double down on that strong statement. Okay. Now, there are some parts of culture that are great. There are some parts of different cultures that suck. That's a controversial statement, especially among liberals, actually. They say, oh, no, all cultures are lovely and wonderful, etc. My ass, they are, okay? There's a lot of things we did in the past that conservatives protect at all costs, no matter what your different nationality, ethnicity, etc. might be. No, that's tradition, you protect tradition. Well, what if your tradition sucks? For example, we had a tradition in this country called slavery. That turned out to be a pretty shitty tradition, and it was a good thing we got rid of it. So from time to time, you have traditions in your culture. For example, genital mutilation when it comes to women, when they cut their clitoris off. You know what? That's a pretty crappy tradition. I know people in that culture say, you don't understand my culture. My daughter would have wanted her clitoris cut off. No, she wouldn't, okay? And it's absurdity I'm not willing to entertain that ridiculous notion.
Yeah, they do that to ensure that the woman never enjoys sex. That's the main purpose. They want to keep her pure. That's why they mutilate the clitoris.
You know, if you really believe that, maybe we should mutilate the part of your penis that you get enjoyment from. You don't need that to have sex. She doesn't need it to have sex. You don't need it to have sex. You just still, you know, you give it a go college try. Oh, you don't want it for men. You only want it for women. Huh, that's weird. Okay, so this is why I'm a progressive and not a conservative. Because conservatives say the old way is always the right way and we never want to change, right? Conservatives in this country, in the beginning, didn't want to rise up against the English government. Why? They were loyal English servants, okay? They were servants of the crown, long live the queen and the king at the time. And so they were gonna bow their head and go with tradition. Well, our founding fathers decided that tradition sucks. And instead we would have a revolution to get to better traditions, okay? So now in this case, are you really gonna let an old guy put your baby's genitalia in his mouth? Really? I mean, really? No, you don't understand my culture. Well, I guess guilty as charged. I don't. That's a really weird culture that has specific health consequences. I wouldn't let an old man do that to my son under penalty of law. He could be the most holy, he could be Mahatma Gandhi and I wouldn't allow it, okay? Are you kidding me? Let alone the fact that it is easy to transfer, it doesn't happen all the time, but it clearly happens some of the time to transfer oral herpes onto genital herpes, and then your kid's stuck with that forever. Are
For the
you
rest
insane?
of his life, yes.
Are you insane?
2 infant boys have got.
Okay, how are we feeling about that? Do you see this has been in our faces the whole time? And this is not about culture. That's how they lie to you. And then when you try to call it out, because a grown man should not be having his lips on your baby, newborn baby's genitalia. No, that is called bad parenting. But they hide it under religion. They hide it under this is, you know, the way that we've always done it here. They hide it underneath culture, so you never question it. You never question it. Very interesting. But this is what they call this thing, guys. Let's take a look and let's watch a little bit more, because, you know, so let's just take a look.
Have you ever wondered what actually happens during a bris? I'm gonna let you in on this. Friends and family come together to celebrate the ceremony, but what are we even celebrating? The bris is a physical symbol of the relationship between God and the Jewish people. A highly trained person called a mohel conducts the bris, and in Northern California, Rabbi Gil Leeds is well known for this role. The baby is passed from the mother to a married woman, who then hands the baby to her husband, known as the kvaterim. The kvater places the baby on the sand deck, who holds the baby during the bris. The mohel says prayers, highlighting the importance of the covenant with the Jewish faith. After that, the baby's foreskin is removed in the circumcision. The baby gets a dab of wine to help be calm. More blessings are said, and the crowd responds,
No, baby. Why are you covering up the gross part? Hold on. They put the blankets over when they do the blood ritual, is what it is. And this is given sacrifice and altar. That's what
to a married woman, who then hands the baby to her husband, known as the kvaterim. The kvater places the baby on the sand deck, who holds the baby during the bris. The mohel says prayers, highlighting the
what? Places the baby on the sand deck? What does that sound like to y'all? Doesn't it sound like an altar? And now everybody's getting circumcised. What are we truly doing when we get circumcised? Oh my God. You don't even want to know. We're going to talk about that. Just keep watching this. Places the baby on the sand deck, altar, essentially. Think about it. If you were back in ancient times, back in Utah, because that is where Israel is. That's Judah, where the Christ truly is from. That's in the book, by the way, in the Cosmic Bible. That's the real land. So, anywho, places the baby on the sand deck. That's an altar. That would be like an altar in, in ancient, Israel. The land would be a little sandy. It would be a little dusty. This was part of the channel the other day too, but just finish this.
The importance of the covenant with the Jewish faith. After that, the baby's foreskin is removed in the circumcision. The baby gets a dab of wine to help be calm. More blessings are said, and the crowd responds. The baby's name is then announced, and in this case,
Yaakov couple.
named after his great-grandfather. We then get to celebrate with a joyful meal. What a spread. Let us know what you named your child. Have you ever...
Okay. I got so much more I could say about this, but baby, you try and tell me you from Israel? Not possible. But anywho, I digress on that. So anywho, guys, listen. And you see how brainwashed the woman is who's doing the commentary? She's so excited. She's so excited. She's like, oh, and the baby gets a dab of wine to calm down. No. A dab is just a little wine on the finger. Like if you grew up in a Black family, if your parents might give you, if you have, like, they call it that the baby have worms. Back in the day when people used to like cleanse for parasites still naturally. So they said that the baby had worms, they would give them a little bit of beer or something like alcohol-less to like get it out. But you're not going to circumcise, cut and mutilate a child with just a dab of wine. And there's no crying. No. You're not telling me you giving the baby just a dab of wine. No, it's going to have to be a little bit more than that to keep that baby from not screaming. So here's the thing, guys. They are there. Mothers, fathers, and all the hat people. I'm sorry. I just got to say it like this because this thing is not of God. This culture is not of God, and I don't care who gets mad. And like I said, I got Ashkenazi Jew. That's what they are. They're from Europe and from Germany. I have a lot of Ashkenazi Jew in me. So I'm here to tell you that I rebuke that because that is not of the light. It's not. At no point should you be allowing a grown man, an old man, to suck on your baby's genitals. And you see in the other video, there was 2 babies that actually got herpes because this nasty man obviously has been around. Where do you think he got them herpes from? I doubt if he got it from his wife. If this man will put his nasty lips on a baby, where do you think else his lips have been? There's no way I could marry a man that was doing this. And maybe they don't have wives. Maybe the rabbis don't. I don't know. But he had to be somewhere. He had no business being to get the herpes, right? To get the herpes. So all I'm saying is that is gross, okay? And I don't care if it's culture, and I don't care if that's part of my blood and DNA, but that's not right. That is absolutely not right. Okay? So wait, guys. Hold on. Now it's about to get interesting because they've been doing this stuff. It's been hidden in plain sight. It's been hidden in plain sight. They, from day one, have always been doing the sacrifice to Moloch and to Baal. They've been doing it from day one, but it's hidden in culture, so you never can say anything about it, or it's hidden in religion. So you can't say anything about it. Imagine if we were to get free from religion and these cultural norms that are not normal, their whole system would fall apart because it's built on a lie and it's built on blood sacrifice. This is a blood sacrifice. They laid him on what they said, a sand desk, an altar. First, they passed the baby around. That's energy harvesting. And we're doing all of this. It doesn't even matter because it's all of us. Every single person now is primarily circumcising their child. So we're all taking a part in this. Remember how I said they've been switching our DNA to slowly mold us into doing these acts where you don't even think there's anything wrong with it because it's just, that's the lay of the land. Where do you think the foreskins are going? Where do you think the foreskins are going? Riddle me that. Someone in the medical industry, what happens when they cut the foreskin off? Where does that go? Where does it go? Where does all of the parts go? I'm telling you guys, we don't even have to question, because where there's smoke, there's fire. Why? Like I said, every time you go to the hospital, they want to cut something off because we have been used to feeding the beast. That's why the medical field is in on this stuff. You look at the medical sign, it's a freaking snake, serpent, and they're part of it. Now, modern medicine has saved a lot of lives, and I support that. But the system as a whole, like the foundation, it was not for you to get well. It was for them to get wealthy and for them to sell you off in bits and pieces and scraps. It's just like if someone buys a house and they say, why rent this out to one family when I can break the house apart and rent each room out and then I can capitalize more? You're cattle. That's how they're treating us, as cattle. So they want to keep you well enough to bring you back when they need a little bit more nibbles and bits. Yeah, maybe they just take a pinky toe this time, maybe a finger or two the next time. Maybe they just, give me that kidney that they, now this is what source is saying. Even a lot of this kidney stuff, I'm not sure if I'm buying it anymore. I'm not sure if I'm buying it at all. What does that sound like, kidney? Does it sound like kidney beans? Why is an organ named after a bean? Oh, because it looks like that. It's shaped like that. Why do you think it's shaped that way? We're getting somewhere. Thank you, source. Bear with me, guys. We're getting... Oh, no. You see? I just said, bear with me. That's what that customer service rep tried to tell me earlier. No. And I said, flow with me. Flow with me, guys. Flow with me. Do you see? So when people tell me I don't have any subconscious work to do, no, that's a lie. Every single person, we have been programmed wrong by a demon. We've been programmed by the devil, Satan's house. I once did a session and the lady had a kidney transplant. It turns out that I don't know if there was like a gray or something attached to it or whatnot, but it turned out that the kidneys are not even an original organ. This is what I found out in the spirit. It's not an original organ. Because I told you, our DNA has been fractured and fractured and fractured. It was a way for them in. So you know how Jeffrey Epstein wanted to go out and like he's... I don't know. Papa is a rolling stone. Wherever he lays his hat is his home. He wanted to inject the world with his demon seed. It's what I'm saying too about some of these organs are not original. They've been injecting the world with a demon seed, with a demonic code and DNA. Making new organs. These are surveillance. So don't think just not the ring cameras and the satellites everywhere. We've already had internal. It's not just the neural link that is coming to a city near you, but we've had these things put into our genetic code, and now we are birthed with these things, but they were not part of our original, hardware, which is the body. Let me take a look at this. Yep, the kidneys look like the bean. Kidney beans, good source of vitamins and minerals. Folate, iron, copper. I think we found it. Magnesium, potassium, vitamin K1. See, baby. Hold on. Don't nobody get mad at me, please. I'm just channeling. I'm just following the source codes. Listen, Linda. Listen. So your kidney, it's not original. It's a spine mechanism. I don't know how, but that's what showed up in the session. Now, when I go to the kidney bean, because the kidney looks like the bean, probably how it got its name. This thing is for minerals, right? And what pops out? So we got the folate, the iron, the copper, ding, 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 and magnesium, potassium, and K1. Where do you get the K1? Where do you get, I'm going, flow with me, not bear with me, flow with me, flow with me. Where do you get vitamin K1? Where do you get vitamin K? Let me see. Okay, hold on. So you get vitamin K through a lot of these, like kale, spinach, broccoli, collard greens, turnips, Brussels sprouts. A lot of these like green leafy vegetables, photosynthesis. It's what I'm getting. I don't care what this computer says. I'm getting a heavy sun energy, but maybe it is the photosynthesis. So the reason why the kidney was introduced into our genetic code is because of what it produced. I think it's copper. I think it's copper. And I think there are certain species that can't live on this earth because they don't have copper. Now, I know you guys are thinking, well, let me give you like something here in America. So the Black Americans are also called the copper-colored race, right? These are the indigenous people of the Americas, right? And there's copper-colored races in all of the, America, South America, Central America, North America, right? But you know what? They don't just call you copper-colored race. It's probably because you have copper. No, I'm putting this together now. It's because you have a mineral that is needed. I am getting that there are some species, I'm getting species, these people aren't human, that introduce certain things into our genetic code because they needed to get these things for themselves. Copper, magnesium, folate, all of these things. Because if you are of a different species, you're not going to have the same minerals as a human body. So this was one way to get them all trying to sync up with us so that they can cloak in human form. This is what I'm getting. That's a sidebar that just came through, and I just wanted to honor that because God knows what else is not original to our hardware. God knows what else. Now, let's pop into this Kabbalah thing. It's been hidden in plain sight, right in front of our faces the whole time. The whole time, hidden in plain sight, like they always do. Here we go.
A Kabbalah tree of life. Are you familiar with that? The symbol of that?
No. I wore a red rubber band from a newspaper on my wrist for most of my life, given to me by my father, just as a because he worked at a newspaper. And I've been accused many times of being in the Kabbalah. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm an Episcopalian to research. Sure. I don't know shit about Kabbalah.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.
Hey, everybody.
The Kabbalah is a belief system that predates religion. It's incredibly scientific. A lot of the rituals, all of the rituals have been appropriated by the Jewish faith. I'd begun practicing yoga, and I was looking for the answers to life. Why am I here? What am I doing here? What is my purpose? How do I fit into the big picture? But you know what? Jesus was a Kabbalist. Jesus was a rabbi.
It's almost part of the American dream, the Kabbalah now. Whoever makes it big in America is also interested in Kabbalah, Madonna, and, the Donna Karan and so on.
Do you see how they throw that in there? Oh, Jesus was a rabbi. Jesus was, I don't know. Where does it say that at? Do you see how they have to throw that in there to just make what they're doing okay? Because Kabbalah, it's an esoteric method of discipline and school of thought in Jewish mysticism. It's considered the soul of Torah, providing a deep mystical interpretation of Judaism's sacred text. What does that sound like? Mysticism, interpretation. If you know anything, guys, and this is coming from, what people say in religion. I'm not a religious person, but what's the first thing people tell you? You're not supposed to interpret. You're not supposed to interpret. You're supposed to what? Go to God, pray, and get the what it means. You don't just interpret things the way you want to. Anywho, guys, focusing on the nature of God, the origin of the universe, and the purpose of humanity. That all sounds great, especially for people like us. It sounds good until it's not.
Every time it seems that someone tries to make a film about witchcraft, because they try to market it, they have to distort it.
Feruza was really into it. She's very much Wiccan. Even though I was into all that stuff, I think she had a really deep understanding of it.
I sense that she was the real deal. I know on the set when I would come by, she'd be reading from the Kabbalah. She was living it.
As above.
And then another time I came here to meet my friend, it was Rosh Hashanah. And I'd never experienced a Rosh Hashanah in Israel. So
Is it because of the Kabbalah, because of your connection to the Kabbalah?
one of my best friends runs the Kabbalah Center. So I came to visit with him.
What did you find in the Kabbalah?
I think we're made fun of more than admired, actually, to be quite honest.
What if you... Do you see how everyone's downplaying it? Do you catch the energy? That they're like, Tucker Carlson was kind of, I just wore a rubber band around my wrist because of my father's newspaper. Everyone's downplaying it. Ashton Kutcher downplaying it. Madonna trying to make it seem like it's the next thing to slice bread into Jesus, apparently. So
you could clean your retainer at the touch of a button. No more brushing or tablets. Over 4 years ago.
Continue.
Hey, hey, hey. This video was
It is every single person. It's a club and you are not in it. It's a club and you are not in it. Let us continue. Okay, now this woman. Let's get into this. All right, guys, I want to show you something else really quickly here. But you see how they've been doing this for a very long time, and it's being disguised as culture when it's just blood sacrifice. I'm sorry. Let me stop right here. I don't even need to. We're going to watch that in a minute. They have been doing rituals on our children, telling them that this is the way of the land. You got to get them circumcised. Why? Why? Why exactly? Why would mutilation serve God? Which God? Which God? And the biggest trick is when people tell you there's only one God, that's a lie. Because if that's the case, these people wouldn't be out serving their dark lord. And Baal, I think, means Lord. You got to be very careful with these terminologies. Tell me what God would say, cut when your baby is just born. Mind you, you're not gonna, do they even use anesthesia? Can they even do that at that age? I don't think so. I don't know. What God, what loving God, as we think, the Christ, we think about just love. What loving God would tell you to mutilate the baby when you pop them out? I will wait. I'm curious to find out the name of that God. See, when you just talk yourself through it, doesn't it sound cuckoo, Cocoa Puffs? Don't it just sound like something ain't right? Don't it just sound like a big ritual that they are doing with our children? And look what they're doing because it's a male. These, so to speak, people have their stamp all over the world. To be such a small nation, you seem to got everything on lock. Because it ain't about the nation. We're looking at another species, and these species is all over the world, and they're in every single nation and race. You guys got to get off of this race thing, because that is another deceptive tool to keep you from looking at what is happening. When you come in, they are doing a ritual. I'm sure they do a ritual on the way out too. I'm sure they do. And it's all for them. Yes, Randy, witchcraft. Ashton is is one of the most sinister. Oh, I would love to know about that, Keisha. More on him. So when you wonder why humanity's being controlled, see, I love what the Cosmic Ministry did for us last night in that meditation. I'm telling you, my eye is even more open. If we stop sacrificing our babies to Moloch, humanity, and Baal, when they come out of the womb, if we stop doing that, then maybe we will gain back our sovereignty and our original blueprint and vibration. Because the moment you do that, is what Source is saying, you're sacrificing your child and your bloodline to Moloch and Baal. So they got all of us in their ritual. When the baby grows up and becomes a man, it's all going to work the same. What is the, I don't get it. And why then? If you want to do that, why do it then? Why not later when you are an adult? Why do it then? Because it's a child, guys. Don't you see? It's a child. They could wait until you get a teenager. No, they want the fresh blood, guys. That's what they need. And then that little nasty I was going to call him a ribeye. Whatever you call a ribeye. Rabbi is sucking literally the blood right after they cut off the foreskin. I wonder where the foreskin went after that party. I wonder if it was part of a shish kebab or jerky. Now I think we know where the jerky's coming from, the freaking foreskin. Guys, where do you think all of the foreskins are going? When I tell you guys that the sick thing with these people is that they put these things in Happy Meals. That's why it's called Happy Meal. It's a, what do you call it? It's an inside joke. They're laughing at us. But I'm getting the vibe that they're taking the foreskin for themselves. They're not going to give the best part because these people are sick. And everyone is in on the ritual now, not just the Jewish people. It is around the world. Yeah, maybe they showed up to the ceremony, but we are doing it too because they have programmed us. Just like, bear with me, right? Just like those little lower vibrational sayings that it's normal. It's not normal to be barren with someone. Be barren with me, basically. Be barren, not be fruitful. These are the things we got to start to catch because this is how it's part of their code. When you say things like this is their code. This is their alien code. This has nothing to do with us. Absolutely nothing. Lord.
Well, first of all, the most educated women who've ever lived. To be
So she's saying Jewish women are the most educated women.
able to openly study Kabbalah is like, that's a new thing for Jill. The Jewish people are just a fantastic bunch of people. Thinkers, creators, moralists, ethicists. And when I was 12 years old,
moralist and oh God. Okay.
I signed a deal with Satan in my room, and because I wanted to get famous no matter what, and then I forgot that I had this deal with Satan and everything, and then I got really famous.
Identified 11 babies who contracted herpes from the oral part of the circumcision. 2 of them died. The Centers for Disease Control has stated the procedure is not safe.
Did you see that nasty man?
Not only is it a safe method, it's the safest method.
Rabbi William Handler calls this a direct attack on the ultra-Orthodox Jewish community and its customs, and says government is overstepping its bounds. Cantor Philip Sherman says he's performed more than 20,000 circumcisions, 6 just today. He says this is not about Jewish tradition, but rather everyone's well-being.
Now, today, we know that germs can be transferred, diseases can be transferred from the baby to the moil, from the moil to the baby.
I should never buy gribbinus from a moil. It's so chewy.
So therefore, you can continue this custom by using a sterile tube, a gauze pad, and the rest of the bris is fine.
And I wanted to know the answers. And I heard about these classes they were teaching. I heard they were very scientific in nature, and it didn't matter where you came from or what religious faith you were brought up in. And I heard the teacher was brilliant.
And he's a rabbi.
He's a rabbi, yeah. It is the mystical interpretation of the Torah.
The higher secrets of the Kabbalah included instructions on how to kill a person with just one look. This is called the evil eye.
Aleister Crowley is one of the most famous practitioners of Kabbalah black magic. He called himself the most wicked man in the world, as well as labeling himself the 666 beast from the book of Revelation in the Bible. Aleister Crowley's black magic is practiced heavily within the modern music industry. He's on the cover of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Aleister Crowley's famous slogan of "Do what thou wilt" is used by rapper and husband to Beyonce, Jay-Z, on his clothing line. And Ozzy Osbourne paid tribute to him with a whole song titled Mr. Crowley. "Do What Thou Wilt" was also printed on one of Led Zeppelin's vinyl albums.
Jewish physicist Albert Einstein conveyed pages and pages of complex calculations in a simple 5-symbol code. Quantum physics, chaos theory, and the notion of parallel universe.
Now we can't. We got to go back and recode this universe. We can't trust him either, because trust me, probably everything you learn is a whole ritual. Let's continue.
Universes can all be traced back to the original texts of the ancient Kabbalah.
We do know that Isaac Newton had access to certain mystical texts, certain texts of the Kabbalah.
Hidden hand that controls the world. In the statues that they tell us to look up to. Y'all just love Trump, but he's with it. He's with all of it.
The Kabbalah believes Lilith is coming back seated at the right hand of Yah. And this is why I tell you guys to watch these videos in order specifically for this series, because if you skip ahead and you're watching it out of order, you're not going to understand some of the terminology. And in each video, I'm not going to go and explain what does the divine feminine have to do with this, etc. We already did a whole video on the whole divine feminine thing, right? So the playlist is pinned in the comments. If you're new here, I would suggest you go watch in order.
This is her channel. If you guys want to subscribe, this just popped up on my my feed.
And come back to this video, you'll fully have a better understanding if you watch them in order, right? But it is an elite knowledge system. So Kabbalah says most people live on the surface. If you see the structure behind reality, for elites, this is intoxicating. It mirrors power, hierarchies, insider knowledge, initiation cultures, spiritualizes power without moral exposure. Kabbalah, especially modernized versions, focuses on consciousness, avoids public repentance, emphasizes inner elevation. This appeals to people who want transcendence without submission, without confession. Again, it's all about lawlessness and morality. You don't want to feel no guilt for what you are doing. It's the promotion of lawlessness. For a lot of people that push a lot of these practices or beliefs in them, again, we'll say some of them may even argue. You might just find some in the comments that are like, no, we believe in morals. We have some form of structure and this and that. Not when you're at the top, okay? The lawlessness of it all is things, your whole mind is shifted. Just like the closer you get to the Father, you start reading your word, He changes your whole neurons in your brain. You're a different person. You think differently. You are a new creature in Christ, literally. You're not the same person. I'm evidence of that. My mind doesn't even think the same way. I don't even see things the same way anymore. A lot of these religions change that as well. They embody what the deities they're serving. They embody what they are. And this is why in Haiti, it was always clear for me, at least on the islands, I could always tell who's serving what deity are you serving, specific deity, because people embody the deity that they're serving, they're practicing. Just like the Father is light, He is spirit, He is light. People can see a light in you. I'm not talking about no esoteric, new age with all the evil eye and this, some energy. It's all fake, right? But when you are in the Father, the spirit will recognize each other. And there's a light. And I know when...
Okay, I got to check her right there. Energy is God. ma'am. Energy, frequency, and vibration. That is God. That is what your whole existence is made up of. You wouldn't even be able to even become a physical vessel to even formulate words without energy, frequency, and vibration. So this is where I got to make a small correction. But if we zone out past the religiosity, she's saying a lot of good points.
I can also spot when someone claims they're in the Father, but they're not. They're very surface level, and how they talk, how they view people, judge people, talk down to people, because there are Christian elites as well that believe they have some special knowledge as well, and this and that. Listen, the key to being a follower of the way is humility, genuine humility, not humility you say with your mouth. All right? So why the Knights Templar matter here?
The Kabbalistic writings of Isaac the Blind fell into the hands of a group of 9 French noblemen, the Knights Templar. They laughingly called themselves the Poor Knights of Christ, but these men were far from poor. They realized that the Kabbalah originated in Palestine. They cunningly planned a bloody crusade to Palestine in order to search for more Kabbalistic and magical artifacts. The Knights Templar arrived in Palestine with one main goal: to stop the Muslims from gaining any knowledge about the Kabbalah. 200 years of Kabbalistic magic and bloodthirsty crusades, wantonly murdering children, women, and engaging in ritualized sodomy, the French Knights Templar were rounded up, tortured, and executed. The Knights Templar monks ritually sodomizing each other, invoking evil spirits, and implanting these spirits into animals such as cats. Various black magic artifacts were confiscated from castles owned by the Knights Templar, including silver caskets containing desiccated heads and skulls. The Knights Templar referred to these heads as Baphomets. They were placed at the center of a round table. Templars would then conduct a seance, invoking the spirit of Lucifer to speak through the head. Several Knights Templar confessed that the image of Jesus was spat upon and trampled during Kabbalistic rituals, a satanic tradition which is still practiced to this day at lodges of the Ordo Templi Orientis, which was once headed by Aleister Crowley. Many Knights Templar bribed their way out of prison and escaped to Scotland and the Mediterranean island of Malta. They first renamed themselves the Sovereign Knights of Malta. They re-emerged in Scotland, calling themselves Freemasons. Freemasonry, Rosicrucianism, the Skull and Bones, the Palladian Rite of Freemasonry, Co-Masonry, Scottish Rite Masonry, the Ku Klux Klan, and Crowley's Ordo Templi Orientis.
Remember during the Charlie Kirk psychic investigation, the Klan energy kept coming up, the KKK, the perversion of the cross. And it makes a lot of sense of why it kept coming up, because it is also part of the Masonic order. Like all of these different societies, like names, they're all just different organizations within, Big Brother, So makes a lot of sense.
Are derived from the original Kabbalistic rituals of the Knights Templar.
Albert Pike said this about Freemasonry in this very book. He says that Freemasonry is based almost totally on the Kabbalah. And many Jewish rabbis have admitted this, and they say that in all of the rituals of Freemasonry, you will find the Kabbalah, the system of magic of the Jews. And they believe that in the last days, a Kabbalistic master will come.
Okay. That's a lie. Source, I'm channeling. They stole this. This ain't even their system. See? If you're not a seer, you will totally just believe all this stuff. Source is saying they stole it and they inverted it. This was always sacred knowledge, and where they got the knowledge from? When the Christ walked the earth and was in all of the schools, the mystical schools. This is where they got that from. But theirs is inverted. They stole it just like they stole everything else. and they turned it dark because they are not of this species. They have a different code. So anything they touch will in fact be inverted because it was not meant for them. This earth was not meant for them. And I have to say that because this is what Source is saying. Anything they touch, anything, I don't care what it is, it will be in fact an inversion because they are of a different they are a different genetic species. Okay.
Come upon the earth, and there will be a Jewish utopia. And by the way, that's also taught in the 32nd degree of Freemasonry, that is the serpent is the Holy Spirit, and he is going to encircle the earth.
We worship a God, but it is the God one adores without superstition. To you, Sovereign Grand Inspectors General, 33rd degree Masons, we say this: the Masonic religion should be, by all of us initiates of the high degrees, maintained in the purity of the Luciferian doctrine. If Lucifer were not God, would Adonai, whose deeds prove cruelty, perfidy, and hatred of man, barbarism, and repulsion for science, would Adonai and his priests calumniate him? Yes, Lucifer is God, and unfortunately, Adonai is also God. For the eternal law is that there is no light without shade, no beauty without ugliness, no white without black. For the absolute can only exist as two gods, darkness being necessary to light to serve as its foil. Thus, the doctrine of Satanism is a heresy, and the true and pure philosophic religion is a belief in Lucifer, the equal of Adonai. But Lucifer, God of light and God of good, is struggling for humanity against Adonai, the God of darkness and evil. Masonry is a search after light. That search leads us directly back to the Kabbalah. All Masonic associations owe Kabbalah their secrets and their symbols.
Okay, let me stop it there because Source is interjecting. Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. Do you notice how it's 33 degree Mason? Well, that's a play off of Jesus, dying at 33. That is what it's a play off of. Yeshua, rather. It's just an inversion. There ain't nothing new. And these people think that it's not even a secret society. I don't even know any of your rules. And I'm already, when you're tuned in and tapped in to the divine, you're fraudulent. That's why your nose is growing, Pinocchio. Now, I'm not talking about people with big noses. But if you look at my father, if you see my father and you see his nose, you will understand. So here's the thing. I just want to make a parallel. Because Source is saying this ain't even their stuff. They stole it and inverted it. There's some noses coming through in the automatic drawing today. Very interesting. There's one nose right there. Has the hump there, just like my dad's nose. This is that Jewish nose. That's the nose. I know the nose. It's part of my DNA. Okay? There's the nose there. There's also another nose here. Let me see if I can. You have to zone out. This is an eye. This is an eye socket here. Remember how they had the one eye covered? This is the eye socket here. And then this is a nose here, but it's kind of like, it's not a protruded nose. It's just kind of like the outline of a nose here. But yeah, there's the like nostril. There's a nostril here. And then there's the curve of the nose. This one, Tim, looks a little bit fatter on the tip, but it curves, right? So why are noses popping up in the automatic drawing? And then I get an alien down here. This is an alien. I want to point it out to you. Look at the face shape. That's not a human face shape. See that eye? There's the eye right there. Eye, the other eye, little nose, straight mouth. That's an alien. And why is there energy coming from the nose? What's that about? What is that? What is that? I think I know what it is. You're saying that you see an apple and a shark down here? Yeah, these things are so abstract. You can probably look at it a lot of different ways. But no, this is an alien. But there's energy coming from the nose. So why are these two noses popping up here? What is it with their nose? And mind you, I'm sorry, but every single person in the world, I think, has this DNA. Because this is the DNA that they seeded into humanity's bloodline. Like, I don't care what they tell you, this is the culture, these are not humans. The offsprings are, we are humans, obviously, but I'm talking about if you go back to the beginning of this bloodline just popped up. It just popped up. You have Black people, you have white people, you got everything in between. But what source is saying about, I'm talking specifically about the people that are saying that they're Jews, would go back to the original, like the first ancestor. Sources saying they popped into the bloodline. So they needed a cloak. They are alien, and there's something about the nose. If we were to expand that nose, I think we would find that there are more reptilian in nature, is what I am getting. That is why. And I'm so sorry. Well, I can't really say I'm sorry, but this is just what source says. You know, it's just time for us to like understand what has been happening, right? And that we can. That's why they say, oh, humanity has a reptilian brain. No, we don't. We have one now because you implanted our blood with it. This is not an original people. It's not. I'm sorry. They're not. They are. It's deeper than them not being guys. Forget about them not being actually from the state of Israel. That is small potatoes. They're not even from this earth, is what I'm saying, is what I am getting. They are actually like, I don't know if they had to mutate themselves to get here, but they somehow were just popped up here from somewhere else, is what I am saying. And then through genetic mutilation, I'm hearing, is it could be given grace. I'm getting a strong reptilian, but they also are working with the grays as well, because sometimes those two work in tandem together. And the grays are the one that are responsible for tainting the bloodline of humanity. And what I'm getting is that the grays did some sort of step down. Remember I spoke about this. If I go and I want to plug my phone in, if I'm traveling, if I'm in Europe, I have to use an adapter because my outlet is wired and calibrated to a different frequency than that outlet. So if I were to just put my phone in the charger and stick it in the wall, it could spark or die or whatever. That's why you need the step down. I'm getting that these people did something to get their DNA into this realm. And the grays is the one that helped them with that. But they are reptilian in nature, is what I'm getting. And this is a stolen stuff. It's just stolen from the light. That's all we're looking at. It's all just an inversion. If you guys were in the Cosmic Ministry last night, Source did a teaching about the Christ frequency bandwidth, right? And so you can view it as we have like one line, and then we have the Christ light on this pole or polarity, and then we have the Satan or Lucifer on this pole or polarity. That's what the bandwidth is. So we take it out of people and we put it into the context of energy, frequency, and vibration. And we understand that if we want to see God, then we activate the light pole, the North Pole, the North Node, the North Pole. And then you do good things. You do acts of kindness. You do acts of service. This is how God is expressed, because God ain't being expressed unless it's expressed through a collective. It has to funnel through something to be expressed. And as a human being, you have to be active in it in order to feel it, right? Or on the other end of the bandwidth is negative vibrations, right? That's where these people come from. They are just the ego consciousness. They're just the separation from source instead of the oneness vibration. That's how we get, all of the separatism and stuff. But they fed that to us, but they kept the collective for themselves. They're very communal. Well, when they want to be communal for themselves, but not for the entire collective soul body. But it's just an inversion of the light. That is what we're looking at. So then you get, you get the archons, you get the reptilians, you get the grays, you get, you Satan, you get, them sucking on that don't even make sense to me. That go to jail. Does that make sense to you? That someone is sucking on the baby's private parts? Humans, we got to do better. And so when, it kind of now makes me understand of why we're like, they were like, stop sacrificing your babies to Moloch. We're still doing it because these people that were implants into the bloodline, the inversion of the Christ, and they took his 33, I wouldn't be surprised they killed him. Who killed the Christ? Yes, we know. Yeah, we know who killed him. Because they needed that sacrifice, because they needed to swap, maybe destiny swap. Anyone? They needed to destiny swap. That's what they needed. So that's that. That is that. I don't know what else to say. I truly just don't, because there isn't a human. There is no human. There is never a human that says, I am going to cut the foreskin off, pass the baby around, let everyone feel the energy that we're about to consume in this room, put them at the altar, take the foreskin for minerals, and whatever else they do. Snakes, it ain't always snake skin. Sometimes it's foreskin stuff. And then after you mutilate the child, you suck on it. I will wait. Tell me what human being does that. I'll wait for it. I haven't met one yet. Disguising it as a culture and religion won't work anymore. I love what Source is doing. Can't put lipstick on this pig. We see it for what it is. This is sick. And because it's non-human, that is why. That's what we're looking at. So now when we zone out and how they created the word anti-Semitic, when they're not even people. Maybe anti-alien or something, or gray, but you're not even. It's just a way to keep you from not digging into their background. That's why they don't allow DNA tests in Israel. Why can't you have a DNA test? Why? Oh, that's right. Because you're not human. That's right. And you're not even from Israel. But then the bigger thing is you're not human. That is why. That's why. You're not even human. Forget about the whole Israel thing. That's small potatoes to now what we're dealing with. And so the reptilian code, you've been encoded with that. That's what I'm saying. So all the stuff coming out in the Epstein files is old news. And they teach this stuff. I never bought into that. Oh, you can't access 100% of your mind. Why? Who fragmented us? It surely wasn't God. It surely wasn't the Most High. Surely wasn't Source. No, it's them, to keep you from yourself so that they could steal the mysticism. So shout out to her video, but this is the tidbit you get when you understand, when you can see, when you can feel, when you have your psychic technology and your God technology turned on, that they demonize these things. So now when we look back at it, we say, oh my God, this is so horrible. But it was once light. It was sacred knowledge that the Christ actually had. And these are his codes. They inverted it and used it towards the other end of the bandwidth of the pole or polarity for the darkness. Everything, this is what I believe. Source is wholeness, right? Yes, we have, dark and light energy, but dark and light energy in the cosmos, guys, does not mean evil. Do you see how they've even inverted that? Something dark is evil. No, we got dark people. We got, Indian people who are, really, really dark, or the South Sudan people that are super, super dark. But they could be some of the most sweetest people. So dark is not synonymous with evil, but that's how they made it. That's not how it is in the cosmos. Dark is actually for like rebirth and stillness and growth and expansion. But what they're doing is they separated everyone into classifications and colors, and then they put this blanketed label, oh, dark is bad and dark is this, so that they can invert it. And it's the anti-Semitic thing so that you do not find them out, right? When this was sacred knowledge that they just inverted. And that's all this is. And they're using it for what? Money, power, and control. And to build their false kingdom on top of ours. That's just what this is at this point. Just as day and night. Yes, Gail. baby girl, Lilibet, 42 gray, pinpointing in time. Oh, wow. Is that from the session earlier? Wow. That's interesting. Yes. Oh, wow. That is interesting. I think we're onto something in the session we had earlier. Yep, sick people. That's it. That's all I want to say. I'm not even going to be, I got a lot going on over here, so I'm not even going to be in the comments really too much tonight, but that's all I want to say. And by no means, that's the thing, guys. It's not just the Jewish people. You got to understand, the Jewish people aren't even the Jewish people. We have the aliens that came, whatever they are, the gray, the reptilian that came. Then they had to find, remember what happened? And I don't know if this was a channel, but they were able to find dramatic people when they were lowered in frequency. They were going through war and famine. I think this happened in a client session. How did they actually implant? Because they found a group of people who were going through famine. They were actually lowered in frequency. And then this is how they tethered themselves to this group of people to get into the bloodline of humanity so that they can reproduce, because they have to get reproduced through human means because they're not human. And remember how I said that they spreaded the bloodline all throughout the world? Remember how I said that during slavery, I was getting the vibe that they were purposefully implanting people with the demon seed, which now we know is not even of this world. So what I'm saying is, too, yes, they found the Germanic people. They were lowered in frequency. These beings that attach, they see your lowered in frequency. I'm gonna jump on that train, see where it takes me. That's what they did to this collective of people. Then they hid in that bloodline. Then, get this, then they went to England, because the same Germanic people are also the kings and queens of England, and the same people, kings and queens of all these other nations in Europe, and dare I say across the world, just hidden in darker tan or black skin. That's what it's given. I don't care. You're not getting off the hook just because you black. I'm sorry. If I see a demonic behavior, that's just what it is. Because you're not going to get me with that old trick anymore. You're not going to get us with the old trick of division anymore. And so what they did was they first spread it. And the Moors, even though I know I'd add some more, but I got to call it out like I see it. Probably a reason why I can pull all these codes is because I know it. Then they spreaded that thing throughout Europe and stuff. And remember, there was also Black nobility in Europe too. But I'm telling you, they still didn't have the most righteous view on the collective. They also too wanted to position themselves in a position of power to keep a class of people underneath them. That's just the truth. So then fast forward to the transatlantic slave trade, which a lot of those slaves actually went to the Caribbeans, and to Brazil actually got the most of it. So then now we know who were the people, and even here in America too, now we know who were the people that were truly graping the enslaved people of the lands, both the indigenous or aboriginal that was there and the ones that were taken, right? It's these people. It's all full circle. They're not human. And this is how they were able to get their seed into every nation. Why do you think every nation has to bow down to Israel and go and kiss the wall? And why was Jeffrey Epstein all about the genetics? He was obsessed with it, with spreading his demon seed into every person, because that is where they come from. They've been doing this since they showed up. And what I'm getting is every so often they got to reseed us, because their genetic code starts to get weeded out of the bloodline. It starts to get thin. So every so often they have to do that, get someone else with that same demonic, whatever alien DNA, and repopulate into the gene pool of humanity. That is what this thing is, guys. I think I've said it. That source did a big one at the end. I think I've said it. Oh, baby girl, a little bit. And I love that name, by the way. And we asked, where did the herpes virus come from? Yes, guys, none of this stuff is real. Now we know why it's Israel. Because they're hiding, just like the Happy Meal, they're hiding in our face. Oh, you're eating your kids. Ha, 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 happy. Israel, they're trying to tell you, ask your question, is this real? This is how they do to escape their karma. They say, I told you, it's not my fault. You didn't figure it out. Is it real? Is it real? Is real? Is it real? Ask yourself, is it real? No, it is alien. It's not human. It's not of this world. because human beings do not suck the womb. I want to say womb, but guys, I keep slipping and saying the womb. There's some, I'm telling you, if I'm sure if I stayed here long enough, there's a reason why they want that foreskin off. There's a reason why. If I sat here long enough, I'm sure it would come to me. I would figure it out. But it's something about the womb too. I think we're talking about, I don't even think it's just a physical womb. I think we're talking about a cosmic womb. Like, I think they're cutting and disconnecting from the divine seed of life when they do that. I think it's lowering the consciousness. I think it's something that, this is what it is, what source is saying. I think it's something that is a way in. Because when he's sucking on the baby, you don't think his saliva and DNA is going inside of that child? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Who would do this? And that's why religions, and in some regards, the bad part of cultures, I love culture, but the bad part of culture is so dangerous because it's often attached to a religion. That's how they get you to accept it. Because that man is putting his DNA in your child. And that's how, it's another way they keep themselves in. And I know you're thinking, well, aren't they they're the same people? You think they're going to give, guys, they know who you are. They know the code that you have. No one's just, no, they put these people in place and then they teach it to their children, to that same bloodline. They were already knew who these people were. And then they teach it and keep it within that same bloodline so that you don't know that it's the same people. And they're just implanting the general population with the demon seed. Said BB is angry that the statue of Baal was burnt down. I bet he is. Do gray have wombs? That's interesting. I would suspect that they do. They might not, because they're always trying to get a woman's womb. Remember that came up too, how they were trying to. Nope, they don't. And that makes sense. That's why they need us. That's why they need us. That's why the grays are always around. They got to seed their hybrid children. So these people could actually be grays. The automatic drawing, one of the noses reminded me of a reptilian. But remember, some reptilians work with grays. So maybe they're both, but they could also be grays. Or remember, the grays come in like technicians as well. Grays are typically depicted as lacking external human organs, including reproductive organs, noses, and ears. Noses and ears. So if you wanted to hide and you wanted to invert that, how would you show up in human form? You would show up with a bigger nose. You might show up with bigger ears. The ears are big too. And lacking human organs. What did I just talk about? Some of the organs are fake. It's their code. It's their code. Thank you. See, you, we are telepathic. Wow. Their capture of human children is also part of their soul harvesting program. Grace, as humans are the only beings in the universe known to possess souls described as immaterial consciousness, with quantum correlation that gains it external life. This is how, this, however, is simply because they are able to convert souls into, and then it just cuts off. Convert souls into what? Just cuts off from there. And they need blood too. Yeah. Guys, I'm almost leaning towards grays. They could be grays. They could be. And they inverted themselves to show up differently. This is why they have the bigger noses, because they don't have bigger noses. This is why they have the bigger ears, because they don't have big ears. This is why they're sucking on the foreskin, on the wound or the womb, the portal of life, because they don't have that themselves. And this is why they have the fake organs. Like the kidney is not original part of our earth anatomy. That's what sources said. Because they don't have that as well. So the reason why we have organ failure is because you got fake organs that ain't supposed to be there. That's how they are living. They needed something that they could live and survive in a vessel. Good for them, bad for us, because we're supposed to be living for 900 years. Until they messed up our anatomy, our genealogy. They messed our genealogy up, and it messed up our anatomy. Source is doing a big one on this one. And it's just an inversion of the Christ light. They don't create nothing. They create nothing. They're here to harvest our soul. Now it's all coming full circle. Do you guys remember when I told you everything is everything? How the Charlie Kirk was going to parlay into everything else? It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. Master Light, are you in the house? I see people saying Master Light. If this is the same Master Light, we miss you. Hi, Master Light. Master Light L. Yes. To hear a beautiful evening. Yes. Welcome back. Welcome back. Men's ears never stop growing. LOL. I'm telling you. And probably because now we know. Because they didn't got to their foreskin. Maybe if they had their foreskin, maybe it would stop growing like everything else. Maybe if they hadn't mutilated them and went into their spaceship and tried to tinker around with the foreskin codes. I know it sounds crazy, y'all, but did you ever think that we'd be talking about this 10 years ago? Did you ever think that there would be a file that the government would release talking about they eaten baby parts and sucking on baby blood and drinking baby blood. And still, some people still believe that is not real. And some people are like, oh, Trump is not part of it. You saw all the stuff and the symbolism. He's part of it, but they still can't believe it because they're still focused on the 3D eyes. Believe half of what you see and only half of what you hear. You got to get into the other energy centers of the body to really understand the totality of the story. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it removes intelligence. Probably, yeah, from the circumcision. I believe that. I believe that. And it also severs, I'm hearing, your connection with source, because even though, like, okay, it's not a womb like a woman has, but it is part of what, actually works in tandem with the womb. It's very important. If you sever that and then you give the womb fibroids, and now a lot of women can't reproduce. They've been slow cooking this thing for a while. This started off with the circumcision to basically detonate the energy field. Is what that is, to detonate you as a child. Those two things work in tandem. If the genitals is I want to say mutilated, but it's really a mutation. If it has a mutation and it works in tandem with the womb, with the woman's Stargate, then what do you think happens to her? Because they are one. Then eventually she becomes mutilated or mutated. It's a mutation. So when they go to like cut off people parts in the hospital, they're trying to mutate you and they want that DNA. That's why you got to give them 50 million vials of blood, because they have to get their fix and their supply, is what the medical industry was set up for, not to keep you alive. They're trying to get people off of this planet. It's just so they can keep you well enough so that you keep coming back in to give them more blood. That is what it's for. They need you living. That's what all the new technology, they have to have you living so that they can keep you around to get the blood. And if they need a little bit more nibbles, they'll introduce some strange disease where, oh, got to take this out, got to take that out. They got to eat on flesh. That's what it is. So I'm just saying. All right, guys. It's all cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, girl, but it's all, And then now get this. Listen.
I never see the silence of the lips. The late, great Hannibal Lecter is a wonderful man. He oftentimes would have a friend for dinner. Remember the last scene? Excuse me, I'm about to have a friend for dinner. As this poor doctor walked by. I'm about to have a friend for dinner, but Hannibal Lecter, congratulations, the late, great Hannibal Lecter. We have people that are being released into our country that we don't want in our country, and they're coming in totally unchecked, totally unvetted, and we can't let
sir, at least they're human.
this happen.
Why are you talking about Hannibal Lecter? He was a serial killer. What president now, okay, what human being who has, you don't even have to have half a brain cell to know if you are campaigning or if you are, I'm not sure if he was campaigning, or if you're speaking and addressing the nation, why would you be talking about a serial killer? Aren't you supposed to be keeping us safe from serial killers? And this, I'm telling you, people can't see it. People can't see it. He was a cannibalist. Hannibal Lecter was a cannibalist. Cabal, cannibal, Canaanite, cannibal. Known for his refined taste, high intel. Oh Lord! So Hannibal Lecter, known for his, it says, refined taste and high intelligence, chilling manipulation, incarcerated for his crimes, but often consulted by the FBI to help catch other killers. Do you really think that he's in jail? If he's helping and working with the feds, you don't think they're passing him a little bit of a foreskin underneath the cell? Famous line, I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. You can't make it up. I ate his liver with some fava beans. So now you can't make it up. You can't make it up. Here's the thing, guys. Hold on. Fava and kidney beans are both highly nutritious, versatile legumes, rich in plant-based protein, fiber, and essential minerals. Would I tell you that they lack because they ain't human? Essential minerals. They're often used interchangeably in soups and stews due to their ability to absorb flavors, and are both commonly available in dried or canned varieties. So you can use these two interchangeably. How many kidneys we have? 2. Why do we got 2? Something is off about that. Is one just a ploy in to the body? I'm going to digress on this, but I'm telling you, if I had more time to just dig through this, I am telling you what all the things we would see. So Rothschild created Israel. Israel. Yep. Rothschild created Israel. Yep. It's all the same bloodlines, and the bloodlines are not human. And then they tell you, oh, you got to be separated into all these different people. That's so that they keep their anonymity. They have to keep you separate. Because once we get back on the oneness spirit, we're going to be like, wait, what's wrong with these people? How come they can't get with the program and the flow? Oh, that's right, because they're not human and they're eating baby parts and sucking on blood all day. That's why. Okay. Well, guys, demonic trickster spirits, absolutely. All right, guys, that is it for this evening's broadcast. And I will post the next meeting in the Cosmic Ministry, which will be soon, very soon. I'll post that over in the Patreon. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the Patreon, the Cosmic Ministry, and holding the light together was beautiful. We're going to do big things over there, shifting the collective. I love it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Oh, thank you for the psychic investigation for all of you. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, guys, if you want to book a quantum telepathic hypnosis session with past life regression and entity removal, the link is down below. It's the February discount. Take advantage of that. And I will see you guys in the next one. You're welcome, Keisha. Bye, guys.